Lucas was a dreamer. Ever since he was a child, he wanted to become a writer. He'd spent countless evenings scribbling ideas in notebooks, imagining his stories touching the hearts of readers around the world. But every time he thought about sharing his work, a voice inside his head would whisper, "Who do you think you are? You're not good enough." That voice wasn't new. Lucas had heard it for as long as he could remember. It crept in when he failed a test in school, when he didn't make the soccer team, and every time he faced a challenge. It was the voice of self-doubt, and it had become his constant companion. One day, Lucas attended a local writer's workshop. Surrounded by passionate storytellers, he felt inspired and intimidated. When the instructor asked the group to share their writing, Lucas froze. He was sure his work wouldn't measure up. But then, an elderly man named Mr. Harris spoke up. His voice was kind, but his words hit Lucas deeply. "Self-doubt," Mr. Harris said, "is just a story we tell ourselves. And like any story, we can rewrite it." Those words stuck with Lucas. That night, as he stared at his unfinished manuscript, he made a decision. He was tired of letting self-doubt hold him back. It was time to rewrite his story. The first step Lucas took was practicing affirmations. Each morning, he stood in front of the mirror and said out loud, "I am a writer. My stories matter. I am good enough." At first, it felt awkward, even silly. But over time, he noticed something remarkable. The more he repeated those affirmations, the quieter the voice of self-doubt became. Next, Lucas turned to meditation. He began setting aside 10 minutes each day to sit quietly and focus on his breath. Through this practice, he learned to observe his negative thoughts without letting them control him. Whenever self-doubt crept in, he reminded himself that thoughts were just thoughts, not facts. But the most powerful change came when Lucas started surrounding himself with positive influences. He joined a writing group filled with supportive and encouraging people. They didn't just give him feedback, they cheered him on, celebrating his progress no matter how small. Their belief in him helped Lucas believe in himself. One evening, Lucas decided to share a short story at his writing group. His hands trembled as he read the first sentence, but as he continued, he felt a wave of relief. When he finished, the group erupted in applause. One member said, "Lucas, your words have a way of making people feel seen. Never stop writing." For the first time, Lucas realized his self-doubt had been lying to him. His stories did matter, and so did he. Months later, Lucas submitted a piece to a national writing contest. He didn't expect to win, but he did. As he stood on stage accepting the award, he thought back to Mr. Harris's words, "Self-doubt is just a story we tell ourselves. And like any story, we can rewrite it." Moral of the story: self-doubt is something we all face, but it doesn't have to define us. Like Lucas, we can overcome it through affirmations, meditation, and surrounding ourselves with positivity. Now, it's your turn. What's a moment when you overcame self-doubt? Share your story in the comments. We'd love to hear how you rewrote your narrative. And remember, you are capable, you are worthy, and you are enough.